This morning, I'm very excited to reintroduce for some of you and to introduce for some of you to the first time to Elliott Pollasch. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Elliott?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay, sorry if I ruined it. So Elliott just recently retired after 48 years in ministry, and he was lead pastor at Faith Community from 1988 to 2003. So just really appreciate you joining us, and he's prepared the message for today. Thank you so much for doing that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about the formality of this. These interview things are always a little awkward. We want to try to keep it a little short, but how are you doing? Just give us an update on what you've been up to and what's going on in your life right now.
Well, this last year was an interesting year to end. I never expected in all my life that we'd go through a COVID year and that would be the end. I have not seen the people in the church that I pastor since last February, the end of February. So it's been literally 10 months of online church leading, which has been a very interesting thing. I can't say that it was bad because we made the best of what we could do, and we've hung on, so to speak, through the whole thing. So it's okay.
So tell us a little bit about the church that you've been pastoring. How long has it been? Has it been almost 10 years?
The church was a church plant. I went back to Randolph after being gone for 22 years, a bit of a Rip Van Winkle thing, because when I went back to plant this church, the old church had sort of dissolved, and this new church was largely made up of a lot of the young people who had now grew up to be 40-something parents with their own kids. And there were a few of the old people still around who were my old friends, but it was a very interesting thing to start all over again with essentially the next generation. And it felt really much of a privilege too, in many ways.
So this is New Life Fellowship in Randolph, Wisconsin.
Right.
Yeah. And how long have you been pastor there?
Just about 11 years. At the end of December, it was 10 years and 10 months. So.
Yeah, that's great. And you retired.
I retired.
Yeah. So
the last year I was half-time. My son, Christopher, was hired by the church to be the assistant to me as a pastor. And now after a year and a half of that, he has become the interim pastor while they do a search. And Chris wanted to go to France with YWAM this last fall, but couldn't because of COVID. So his plans were delayed, which worked out well for me and for the church because he could stay on and serve them for the next few months while they do a pastoral search.
Yeah, hope it isn't too much like It's a Wonderful Life, the desire to travel far. And anyway. So what are your plans for your retirement?
Oh, that's a really good thing. I love the idea of being able to. It was actually Sandy Jensen who reminded me that I am not retiring. I'm redirecting my life. So thank you, Sandy. That's become my mantra over the last couple of weeks. I've been writing books. This last year, I wrote a devotional commentary through the entire New Testament on a daily basis, and I'm working on editing that and sometime publishing that. I'm going to write another book in the near future. I want to do most of my books have to do with scripture because that's my love and forte. But I've had some other things. I've written 3 books since 2012. 2 of them were devotional commentaries for Advent and Lent, and one of them was theological. This 4th one now is a devotional through the New Testament an entire year, essentially 6 days a week for 52 weeks to read through the entire New Testament. That's what I'm working on.
Weren't you telling me that one of those was on Shalom? One of the
I've talked about Shalom quite a few times in them. Every time I ran across that issue within the New Testament, that would be a part of what I wrote.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to hearing your message on Shalom. So one of the things we do, and I mentioned this to you already, is that we meet afterwards on Zoom. And we would love to see you there and get a chance to kind of ask you some more questions.
I would love to be there. I'm planning on it.
Good. Hey, Eric Seaberg is with us. Eric, I know I'm putting you on the spot. Did you have anything you wanted to ask Elliott?
Not to ask so much, but to I just wanted to say that it's been a passion of mine for years to see if we could reconnect with Elliott. And then I think it was September of 2019. There were so many people gathered at Wayne Ferdehert's funeral, and I ran into Elliott's pretty much the whole family was there that day, and I just realized how much love there really was for the Pollasch family and the extended FCBC community. And I did mention to Elliott at the time, I said, boy, it would be so great to reconnect. And it feels like this is an answer to prayer.
I remember that, Eric. I remember your conversation, and I remember you telling me that you would love to have me back sometime. And I thought to myself, I would love to be back sometime. At that time, I was still very much full-time pastoring, and I couldn't quite figure out how that would work. But it didn't take long for somebody to contact me once the word got out that he's retiring.
Honestly, Elliott, we didn't even know that. We've been feeling a need for some, I don't know if the right word is reconciliation, but reconnecting, and your name came up, and I thought, well, this is the perfect time. So I'm glad it worked out. Yeah. Thank you so much for blessing us. We're really looking forward to hearing your message and then reconnecting with you later.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for inviting me too. I appreciate that a lot.